Okay, good morning, everybody. So, how are you doing? Good. We have a very interesting panel, and before we start, I would just like to quickly introduce my team, the panelists. All are specialized in their own country and fields. I've got Vivek Agrawal from GIB Agro, who will be representing India. Shyam Narsaria from RB International, representing Myanmar. Asad Beg from ETG Dubai, specializing in Africa. Eduardo Turbay from Panelists from Argentina. Miss Wang Annie from Jilin, China. Thank you everybody for being part of the panel. I'll just start with the whole assembly on the commodity wise, and for the commodity what we are dealing, the figures are on the best effort basis what we are exporting from different countries, and we are not like 100% sure on the data what we have, but with whatever past experience we have accumulated the data and on best efforts basis. So if we talk about Pigeon trees global, we are looking at this year total production to drop heavily. If you see, last year production was close to 4 million tons, and this year we are looking at less than 3. The main reason for the drop was because of India's quota restrictions, the import restrictions, and the commodity which used to trade between $500 to $2,000. It sold at a peak price of $200. Farmers literally burned the crop and they don't want to grow. So most of the countries which were growing, they have cut down a lot. India, the crop is down because of the current monsoon climate situation. So, but the carryover is there. So when we come to India, then maybe Vivek will focus more on it. But overall, we are looking at a huge supply shortage in pigeon peas, and we see a demand of close to 4 million ton. So there is a gap of about 1.2, 1.3 million ton, which is huge. And the gap will be mainly filled by India's current stock, what they have, and we are also looking at some imports. And there are a lot of new news coming up. Like recently, yesterday itself, the Indian minister, he announced that there will be some more import quota allowed. We don't know yet, but we have to wait and see. Even if they allow, from where we are going to get the commodity, because it's not available. So this is on pigeon peas we have. Then we go to black Matpe. Black Matpe, we are looking at again a shortfall in overall production, which is close to 2 million ton, and mainly produced out of Myanmar and India. And the consumption is 2.5. Black Matpe is one commodity where the demand is growing a bit. If you see Bangladesh is a typical green Mung buyer. But if prices drop for black Matpe a lot, they replace green Mung with black Matpe. So they make use of black Matpe. So Bangladesh has become an importer of about 100,000 tons. India, there is consumption close to 2.1. And we are looking at Bangladesh, UAE, Nepal, and some more countries. The interesting factor which I saw yesterday when I was going around in that waiting area and the foyer area, Brazil is planting black Matpe. Again, with our Argentinian expert, he will add on that, but this is something which is happening. And they are importing, when I checked with that gentleman from where you are getting the seed, he said he got the seed from Myanmar. So we are seeing more and more new origins coming for commodities, even like black Matpe, pigeon peas. Mung is all over, but even with black Matpe we are seeing Brazil gradually coming up. Maybe next 5 years down the line, we'll have a decent numbers out of Brazil. So if we talk about production out of India, it's an estimate 1.5 because the crop will harvest in September, and still the monsoon is bad. India black crop is mainly out of West Coast. India black crop is mainly out of West Coast, and the monsoon is quite bad in Maharashtra. So we have to wait and watch. We expect if such things continue, then black Matpe overall will be very strong. Pigeon peas black Matpe looks like a very, very strong commodity. But again, I always tell in my presentation, pulses is one commodity, it doesn't go by fundamental. We prepare fundamental, okay, it's a part of your S&D, it's part of your business plan. But sentiment plays more role in pulses. If some people start buying, everybody start buying. If there is a shortage, everybody follows. As a trader, I can sell in 3 days, 4 days, commodity which I have planned to sell in a month. Means everybody buys at the same time. So sentiments drive most of the pulses commodity because there is more transparency. We don't have any mechanism. That's why if you talk about real ABCD, MNC terms, most of them they don't want to do pulses. Or they do get amount of it. Because they don't see transparency, they cannot do volume, there is no hedging. So sentiment plays very important role in pulses. Okay, coming to green this commodity, it comes like 5 to 6 times a year in a country like India, Myanmar, and most of the producing countries, except maybe Africa. But green crop is the shortest crop for your information. In 60 days from sowing, you can get a harvest. So it's very difficult to get a very accurate numbers for green. But every 2 months there is a crop. In Myanmar we have like 5 crops. Every 2 months you get homemade some different variety. So we are looking at again overall Indian production to drop a bit on green. And if you see overall demand, the demand consumption is quite good for green, especially China. I was talking to China used to buy only quality green, but she mentioned to me, Sunil, even now China they have demand for 100 different type of companies. Origins are adding. We're talking about Argentina, Brazil, Venezuela. In Africa, we're talking about Ethiopia, Tanzania, Mozambique. So many countries are producing green. So if you talk about green in terms of origins, we can easily list up 20 and it will be not enough. But yes, the main factors are China, India, Myanmar. Myanmar, again, the largest export of green is also out of border because they share a common road, common border. So there is a lot of commodity which goes to border in south of China, north of Myanmar, which is close to Yuan province. So overall, green also looks like a decent commodity this year. So if you talk about all these 3 items, we are overall looking bullish in terms of Mung and Pigeon. Country-wise slide, I would just leave it for my panelists who address on it. So I have maybe 2 slides which are more panelists are not there. So maybe I'll go to that before I hand over to my panelists. Australia, the normal production is close to 130,000-140,000 tons, very consistent. This year is only 30,000 tons. The crop has been bad and they have been rather looking to get something out of overseas and they don't have enough for their own consumption. The consumption, what they produce this year is close to what they consume. So we are not looking at any export or carryable from Australia. So the figures are quite low out of Australia. We talk about Pakistan, the production for black Matpe is negligible. It's they are mainly importing. So they import close to 78,000 tons and the consumption is also similar. And it's a growing market where black Matpe is in good demand in Pakistan. Maybe the average lot size of the buy is 3 to 5 containers, but they are consistent buyers in the market and there is a good demand, good consumption in Pakistan. Mung they produce a decent volume, maybe 20-25% they import again depending on the price. So this is very price sensitive commodity and market, where if the prices are good, they take a bigger volume, prices are high, they can switch. Pakistan can easily switch from black carpet to meat. The black carpet is very high. They can consume more of meat and less of carpet. Overall, we are looking at similar volumes and figures are very consistent for black carpet. So, without taking any further time, I would like to go to India and I would request Vivek, because that's the most interesting country at this moment with every day new policy, new restriction, new news, which is driving the price, and the price can fluctuate 50 to 100% in a month. We started selling Myanmar Pigeon in $500. Today we are looking at new from $800 to $900. So that's what fluctuations are. So it's like very, very heavy fluctuations. So I'll pass on to Vivek to Vivek.
Hello. Thank you, DC, for giving me an opportunity to speak here. As you know, that there is a very huge shortage of PPs, and the supply side is cut down from the government by itself. They expect price to be easy and they can handle it properly, but now they are facing a big problem over there. We have a shortage of almost 50 lakh ton, means 1.5 million ton, which is supplied by government, give a quota of 2 lakh ton. And yesterday, the Indian government announced for 2 lakh ton extra import, which is government to government. As per what I get information yesterday. We have one more supply of 1.75 lakh ton of Mozambique. We have a treaty over there. But what I feel that they have going to face a big problem on there. Now, as of now, I have a stock for 12, which is in government hand, is 0.8 billion ton. So, after having all this stock, the consumption side is more than what we have to be required in a part. In tech mapping, definitely, again, we have also shortage, government announced for quota, but it's not fulfilled the consumption side. So, Indian government may be very soon thinking over the import, not for the private, but for the government to government import. They are looking very sharply all these things, developments, as the global price will come. Green companies, yes, there is shortage, but green companies is very early to say because MSP is very high, domestic price is very cheap. So when government tried to match the MSP, they won't have any bother for that. So overall, I think apart from movies, like Matpe and other things, we are very bullish on that.
Like what you see in Vivek's figure, all these figures definitely we have provided to them from all our analysts and directly from the source. Pigeon piece, we are looking at Indian this year production close to 2.5, consumption close to 4 million. 1.5 million head shortage. I don't know what our friends from Green Analysts covered, but there might be some interest in green lentils for replacement of BJPs for import. But again, government restriction, again the import tariff. So there are a lot of factors there. And Vivek mentioned government is going to announce import of more volume. But from where they are going to get? I know there is only Myanmar, again Shyam will cover that, but 3 lakh ton now, 75,000 ton production. There is not enough cargo. So we have to wait and see how fundamentally price goes and how the market behaves. So that is very important. Maybe if you can express more on the current what government situations and policies are and how you see from Indian point of view how stable is going to be with all the others.
Now the government basic priority is that inflation is not going up. As Mr. Modi said last year, that we are not going to fight elections in the name of inflation. We are not giving opportunity to India to fight in the name of inflation. So they will try to control the price at certain level. Where the MSP is there, you can near the MSP, but not to the extra MSP. But apart from that, government can give full force to stop to go price up. So it's other than production and demand and supply, it's about the government. Right now, you can't say that if you have less supply, you can achieve the price will be going up, or you can see the price of government trying to bring any form, anywhere. But the main problem, the reason is very less crop, so government have to see how can they control this thing.
See, for these products, if you talk about government policies, if you talk about pre-elections, Indian government wants the price to go up. So the whole situation changes so fast. Post-elections, they want price to come down. So the government agenda, in one way, they say it's clear, they want to support farmers, they want price to be above MSP. If the price goes above MSP, they say, oh, the prices are too high, they want to restrict import, they want to bring it down. So the total policy structure, which is currently around worldwide for the commodities what we are presenting, is very, very, very uncertain. People have to be prepared for surprises. Any day, any night, you're sitting today, you go out, you can see a new policy. And at the end of the day, who is suffering? Traders. You're seeing defaults, you're seeing issues. Nobody is at fault. My buyer is not at fault, my seller is not at fault. Government is bringing restrictions with effect from today, anything. So this is really an important factor which everybody have to keep in mind when they're trading these commodities. There will be a lot of intervention from government. Sometimes they want price to go up, and one fine day they say they want the price to come down, which is also happening in India. So something interesting to wait and see. So yes, the quota is already announced for 3 items, and tentative quantity is out per company, which is going to change, and they're expecting it to be out very soon, maybe within a week. And we feel short-term, the millers are going to buy, though they have time up to March, but they're going to import all these items because the domestic markets are supporting. So, Vivek, anything else you want to add before we go to questions? Okay. So, I come now to Africa. Asad, so can you get an overall view on Africa, especially pigeon peas, which is a main item, and a bit of green.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Mr. Sunil, for a nice presentation. Let me start with the green mung beans. The production is remained consistent in green mung beans. It will be around 100,000 tons this year because green mung beans, farmers and traders are not dependent only on India. There are other markets like Bangladesh, Pakistan, UAE, China. Other markets are there, so that's why the production is consistent in Mozambique, Tanzania, and other parts of Africa. And when it comes to pigeon peas, yes, production in Mozambique is consistent. It is around 200,000 tons this year. But in Tanzania and Malawi, the production has came down by 60%. Because they are not having any type of government treaty with India. Only Mozambique is consistent, and I think that production will be very less when it comes to overall Africa.
Okay, so when you talk about the production down, so what they are replacing with? Are they putting any other crop other than pigeon peas? Or?
In Tanzania, what they are doing, they are already shifted to chickpeas and maize. They are already shifted.
Okay, so it's chickpeas is also for export and maize for local use?
That is also for the export, and that is going to India without any duty.
Okay.
That's why they have.
So under what arrangement? Because India, they still have the tariff and restrictions on chickpeas.
For chickpeas, there is no tariff.
Okay. So only for African chickpeas, it can go duty free?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so see, again, there is some sort of government policy which is dominating the commodity, which one origin like Australia, they have restrictions, and another origin which is Africa, they don't have restriction. Even Myanmar, under some special arrangement, they don't have restriction. People can import chickpeas out of Myanmar, though we have a very small crop. And maybe, Asad, you can add a bit on Sudan. So that's very interesting origin which has been heard in market, though there are some limitations to trade. So if you can talk about pigeon peas, how do you see Sudan on the map gradually?
See, in Sudan, the production is increased on the past 2 years. Now we are expecting around 50,000 tons this year in Sudan. But because of the unrest in Sudan, because of the emergency situation, they are not able to ship the cargo. And still there are some restrictions by the banks. So it is difficult to predict anything in Sudan. But of course, after 2 months or so, we are expecting that there might be some export from Sudan.
Okay. See, when I saw what Vivek mentioned yesterday, there was some announcement of pigeon peas. Like MOU is there between India and Mozambique now, 175,000 tons. So when we're talking about more G2G coming in, it's also important for us to see whether it is between African countries, any MOU signing. If they sign MOU for next 5 years, 3 years, 4 years, then we can see production to go up next few years in Africa. But currently, yes, they don't find any sort of home for the product. If you talk about 2 years, 3 years back, what we understand Indian government is pursuing Africa, that you grow pulses, we'll take your pulses. India was producing 20 million ton and the demand was like 24, 25 million ton. So India was more on a lot of origin, especially African origin. Please grow pulses and we would like to buy from you. But now the situation has changed with last year, farmers literally burning the crop standing on the field because the harvesting cost is more than what they can sell in the market. I remember one of my supplier and my Pakistani friend told me, Sunil, I bought $220 for pigeon peas. And a year before that, I traded $2,000 for pigeon peas. So it's like 10 times. So we are more into a gambling business than a stable pulse commodity, a stable pulses trade. And this is, I feel, more because of the government restrictions. So there has to be something which has to be clarity. Even as a GPC, we are putting a lot of efforts to have some sort of agreement where there are policies are stable. Don't come as a surprise. So if there is a stable policy, it is good for the government, the traders has got transparency, the farmer will have transparency, and it is win-win for everybody. Hope we can have much more stable policy. Anything else you want to add, Asad?
No, thanks.
Okay. We go to Myanmar. So Myanmar is known as a golden land where it rains 6 months, very fertile soil, and whatever you put there, it grows. Every few meters you find a pagoda. They call it a temple. So they are very fertile land and very auspicious for them, and very good for agri. Shyam is an expert from Myanmar, has been there last almost 20 years, and he will share his view on Myanmar and the policies what we see out of Myanmar. Shyam.
Good afternoon. As Mr. Sunil said, Myanmar is a golden land. And Myanmar plays a very big role in the pulses market. The average production of beans and pulses from Myanmar is 1.2 million metric ton. And 75% of its produce is exported to India. Now, black Matpe, pigeon peas and green moving, it also consists of 75% of the total Myanmar beans and pulses production. I start with black Matpe, which is the main item for Myanmar beans and pulses. The average production of black Matpe from Myanmar is 600,000 metric ton. But in the year 2019, it comes down to 450,000 metric ton. And the carry forward stock from the year 2018 is 100,000 metric ton. So the available stock is 550,000 metric ton, which is available for export. But there is a quota from India for only 150,000 metric ton. Another 150,000 metric ton can be exported to countries like UAE, Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan. So Myanmar is still left with 250,000 metric tons surplus. Seeing this, I can say in 2020, the production will be further down, maybe to 200 or 300,000 metric tons. Now coming to pigeon peas or two-hole, the average production of pigeon peas in Myanmar for the last 5 years were around 300,000 metric tons. But since last 2 years, the production is coming down. Reason being the restrictions imposed by India, limiting the quantity of import. Last year, the production was coming down a bit, but this year in 2019, 18-19, the production is down to only 80,000 metric tons. From 300,000 tons to 80,000 tons, you can imagine the difference is only 30%. The available stock in Myanmar is new crop 80,000 metric tons, plus the carry forward stock from 2018, which is around 110,000 metric tons. So the available is 190,000 metric tons. But India have a quota for 200,000 tons. And yesterday, as my friend said, India announced one new quota, maybe the quantity is 400,000 tons. But the available stock in Myanmar is only 190,000 tons. Out of that, I feel only 150,000 metric tons only can be exported. Balance will be like exported as processed pulses to dal and to other countries like Nepal, UAE. They are also regular buyers of two-hole. So there is a big shortage of two-hole. As Mr. Sunil also said, there is a shortage of 1.5 million metric tons. And Myanmar is also like 190,000 tons. So a big shortage in two-hole. In next 3 months, I can see when India start importing, once the millers get the license, there will be very good demand in two-hole. Now another item is green mung bean. The average production of green mung bean from Myanmar is 300,000 metric tons. But since last 2 years, the production is going up. Like last year, I mean in 2018-19, the production is around 400,000 tons. And 2020, we are expecting it to be around 500,000 metric tons. One important thing about green mung bean is Myanmar green mung bean is not dependent on India. The main buyer is China, and that too through the border trade. So the production of green mung bean is going up after the restrictions from India, and it will further go up. It is the most expensive item from Myanmar pulses. Like for black Matpe is somewhere around $550. Pigeon peas is around $700. And green mung bean, the minimum price is around $750 and the highest price around $1,100. The average we take around $850 to $900. So seeing the overall scenario of all these 3 items, black Matpe, two-hole and green mung bean, black Matpe production is expected to go down in 2020. Two-hole production, yes, the sowing time is May, June, up to end of the June. The sowing report is very good. Next year we can expect maybe 250,000 to 300,000 metric ton of pigeon peas. And green mung bean production, as I said earlier, I am expecting 500,000 metric ton. Thank you.
Thank you. This one again, the production totally depends on what India is going to do, what the quota will be, what the restrictions will be. So based on today, there is a restriction, so they reduce. But next year, we feel that if there is more demand and the inventories are low, Myanmar, as Shyam said, might go ahead. This is currently the sowing time. They do the sowing around June, July. So we may expect a better crop. These farmers are fetching better price, so we may get a little bit better crop. But the production doesn't depend on climatic condition. Like in Australia, Canada, all the developed countries, the production depends on the climatic condition. Myanmar production depends on government conditions. Myanmar production depends totally on, because they are depending on exports, they don't consume. So what other governments are looking at from them, whether they can really sell out. So they might switch to different commodities if the price continues to drop. If they fetch good price, they will produce. If you talk about black Matpe, again I would like to add, especially Bangladesh. If you see the figures about Bangladesh, it's very inconsistent. Sometimes they buy like 10,000, 15,000 tons, sometimes it may go to 100,000. Last year price dropped to like $300 on black Matpe. Bangladesh came into market, they replaced green. So these commodities, a lot of commodities which can easily be replaced by each other, like DR lentil by pigeon peas, chickpeas, yellow peas, black Matpe, green mung. I was talking to Annie, she was saying that Sunil, you might be interested in black Matpe because it's part of the same family, it's part of the same Indian family, it's the broader family. So the production of Myanmar will totally depend on what we are looking at in terms of government restrictions or policies. So we have to wait and watch how it goes. Anything else, Shyam, you would like to add on Myanmar before we move to any other origin? It's
okay, maybe.
I mean, there have been a lot of talks and I think a lot of news on local associations approaching Indian government to increase the quotas. Do you think that will really happen, especially in Matpe? I understand there was a delegation from Myanmar to India requesting them to increase the quota from 150 to 400,000 tons. So what is your opinion on that? Do you think that's going to be happening with current crop condition in India?
Yes, the Myanmar local association, they have the Myanmar Beans and Pulses Association. They have approached the Indian counterpart several times, and even they have proposed for the MOU, G2G. Actually, there are times in the last 2 years, but nothing has worked till now. And yesterday, I was talking to one of the Indian officials. He was also positive that yes, it might be done. For black Matpe, I do feel that maybe there will be some G2G trade. As I mentioned, there is surplus of 250,000 metric tons. But again, it comes, if the Indian government they want for all the items, not only for black Matpe. They will need for crude also, black Matpe also. But there is a heavy shortage on crude. So I have a personal doubt that for any particular item they will do, maybe for entire pulses, maybe black Matpe to whole and green moving, it can be done. But only for black Matpe, I have my doubt.
So currently we have import quota of 500,000 ton, 200,000 ton pigeon peas, 150 each for black Matpe and green mung. With 200,000 tons increasing in pigeon peas, it will become like 700,000 tons. We have to wait and see. There was yesterday some news tutor, we don't know how correct and what the procedure will be. But yes, G2G sounds easy when it is done. G2G always sounds good. I've been hearing in Myanmar last 10 years, 15 years, there have been a lot of delegates where India was shortage. They want to do G2G, that time Myanmar was not so keen to do G2G. And even if they do G2G, the crop is with the private farmers and exporters, how to structure it. So it sounds much good, but practically execution doesn't look too easy for G2G. So we have to wait and see if anything happens of G2G, how practically this will work. If they have MOU like Mozambique, yes, it's MOU between the country, but private exporters can export, they can apply permits, you get permit, you export. So everybody can export. So with Myanmar also doesn't look like it. I'll go back to China, I'll speak a bit slowly. Annie, so you can share your opinion on the overall view of China. Annie.
Good afternoon. I will introduce China Burma beans. Burma beans is planted widely in China. The main production area that's in the northeast, in Mongolia and Pigeon province. Two provinces output account for about 40% of the total production. Because we have many origins, so our seeding time from end April to June, and harvesting time starts from August to October. This year, the seeding time reduced much. In some small production area, which has finished their seeding, we can see about 40% drop. But in the main production area, the seeding time has not finished, so we need to wait and watch. But we can expect that our 2019 crop will be dropped. Next, I will say something about our import and export data. In the past 5 years, China export volume maintains from 100,000 metric tons to 130,000 metric tons, but the import volume increased year by year. Our main suppliers from Myanmar, Uzbekistan, Australia, and Vietnam, and other more than 10 countries. Next, I will say something about our market. Basically, after our Spring Festival in June or February, our consumption for green beans start to increase, and the market will raise up slowly. But in China, green beans is seasoned commodities. After August, the consumption for the commercial green beans demand is less, but green beans for protein market improve. Generally speaking, I think China will import more quantities along with our own dropping planting acreage. But the quantities and quantities depends on the quality, price, and shipment date from different origins. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. So if you see Chinese figures, they do both import and export. I've seen this in China in other commodities also. What China is good at is they produce some very good crops. Say any commodity, say Wang beans, sesame seed. They export the best one to Japan and fetch higher price. But because they still have consumption, they will import from other origin at a lower price. So this is the business strategy in China. Import low price, export high price. Same commodity, different origin, they can easily switch. So if you see the figures here, they are importing 300,000 tons. If they don't have enough, why they need to export? But they still export. Maybe they are fetching at 20, 30, 40% more in exports what they are getting from the neighboring countries because they can do good quality control. So this is a very important factor which we can see in China. Maybe for a lot of people's idea, you can share what green mung is used in China for, because there are a lot of different uses for different commodities. In India, we use mungs for splitting, and sometimes we use as a whole consumption, some country using for different. But in China, what is the real use of mung beans?
Subject to different variety and different qualities, China basically has 3 usage. One is for protein, and second is eating directly, such as we make bean soup, and we also use it as materials to make cake, to make foodstuffs such as cake or bean paste. We use it.
So you can see the usage is very huge, the different usage in China, and gradually we feel more and more usage and more people going vegan, more the pulses, protein, what we are looking at. We feel the demand might grow in China. And yes, it's a good opportunity for South American friends currently because there is not much supply from other countries for them to export a decent quality and quantity to Chinese market. I'll just go to South America, to Eduardo. Maybe you can give us the overall view on South America. Eduardo.
Hello, how are you? Well, gathering the information from Argentina, Brazil, and Venezuela, it was quite difficult, especially for Venezuela because there are no statistics and you have to talk to many people there. Anyways, I can contact about 3 exporters that are exporting from Venezuela, and I hope that information will be accurate. Mostly, I will start with Argentina. Argentina lost at least 50% of the area for 2019, mostly because of the prices at the time of seeding were not very competitive, and producers mainly decided to plant other beans, let's say black beans or alubias or other. I think that the main area that dropped was Córdoba. I talked to producers there, and they said that on 3,000 hectares were planted. But at the northern part, where we were expecting between 18,000 hectares, at the end of the harvest, we had complications with climate, and the quality of the green moon beans were not as a premium one. So from Argentina, I think that we have around 25,000 metric tons total. In Brazil, the situation is around 30,000 hectares planted, and they are expecting around 40,000 metric tons to export. Quality, it's good. They have very good seeds. A couple of exporters have very good quality. And in Venezuela, they planted around 25,000 hectares. Yields are very low. I talked to the producers there, and they said that they harvested around 600 kilos per hectare, more or less. So total average they will have to export will be around 20,000 metric tons. That is what they are expecting. On the 3 countries, one of the main issues that we are facing is that the lack of good seeds. Every time that I talk to the producers, especially in Argentina and Venezuela, they are saying that they don't have good seeds to plant. We don't know the origin of the seeds that we are planting, so that is one of the problems that we have to solve in these countries in order to be able to sell at better prices than we are selling. In Brazil, I think that they have a government plan of developing good seeds to plant. I guess that tomorrow they have a speaker that will talk about this situation. But main destinations for these 3 countries are China, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, and all South Asia. So mainly that's the situation.
The current figures, what we are showing is based more on Argentina and Brazil. Venezuela, we are not added because we are not very sure of the figures, and this is a new origin. But yes, we are expecting more and more origin to add and remove with demand, and the climate is favorable. And it's a very short crop, 60 days crop, so we expect in South America there might be more origins adding up. And the interesting factor which I saw was one gentleman outside who is producing black Matpe in Brazil. And when I checked with him, the origin of the seed, he said he got it from Myanmar. So gradually on the map, especially for Pakistani friends, we can see there are more options rather than depending only on Myanmar. And Thailand, they produce some, but the quality again is not so good, plus there is a local demand. So yes, we want more and more South American countries to Also adding black Matpe, they feel it's suitable for the crop. So they have like variety of crops with them and easy for them to sell. The biggest challenge which I see in South America is the moisture. Any commodity which is sensitive with a moisture of like 13.5, 14, especially mung beans, we had past experience challenges when you load the good quality and the rival quality, the color change. So which is a challenge which gradually Argentina and Brazil need to figure out how to address this issue, because then it might become a long term not a very good thing for a buyer where they feel that seller is not holding a good quality, where we know that seller has done his job in the best efforts way and a good way. But the transit time we have seen as long as like 60, 70 days. Commodity like green mung, the color can change. And it will unnecessarily create a misunderstanding between buyer and seller. So this one factor is quite important for South America. So anything else before Eduardo, anything else that you have to add? So maybe we can, that's the main for the initial presentation. We can go to the question answers and we can take some questions from here. Okay, we go with the first one. I'll give this to Shyam. What will be the substitute crop in Myanmar if they plant less of pigeon peas and black Matpe? It's a very good question and
Very good question.
yeah.
First, for the pigeon peas, like last year we have noticed, I mean 2018-19 we have noticed the production come down to 80,000 metric ton from the average production of 300,000 tons. Yes, there was a switching from pigeon peas to gram sesame seeds, some sunflower seeds and some area a little bit of yellow peas. For black Matpe, there was also a switching. Like we have seen, the green moving production has gone up from 300,000 to 400,000, and black Matpe production has come down from the last year 550 to 450,000 tons. So for the black Matpe area, which is the southern part of Myanmar, the same area is for the premium variety of green moving, which we call Pigeon. So that was black Matpe was switched to green moving, and pigeon peas are 3-4, since this is the central part and northern part of Myanmar. So 3-4 items were switched, but in small quantity. But the major item was gram mung. Thank you.
Yes, so the second question is also similar, but they moved a lot to oil seeds other than pulses, because oil seed is a much more neutral commodity for them, and they can easily ship to, say, sesame, can go to China, Japan, they can produce groundnut, they need locally. So they are seriously promoting farmers to switch to other crop if they are not able to sell to the destinations for which they are producing, because they don't consume much. And they're shifting more and more to what they can use. Like yellow peas can be an interesting commodity. I don't know if our friends will be covering small aspect of yellow peas, but Myanmar, they eat a lot of yellow peas as one of the meal in the morning together with boiled rice. So that can be a small market. They produce some, but they have shortage, they don't have enough. So yellow peas can be one item which they can shift. I will maybe I can put this to Vivek on the Indian side. Pigeon peas, please review Indian shortage between 19 crore estimate 2.5 million ton production and usual 4 million ton consumption. Shortage 2.5 million tons. How do you see shortage to be covered? This is actually a serious question.
Yeah. So I am expecting this question. This is a big question for Indian government also. We have 800,000 tons of stock of pigeon peas, and we expect that government try to cover, because you know that whenever the pigeon peas price go up, people shift in India to red lentils. So red lentils consumption is going up. Somehow the pigeon peas replacement is green lentils from Canada. So when the pigeon peas price up, Indian people start importing green lentils, and some of the middle class or some particular area, they switch to red lentils. So we expect supply from Canada. Lentils is there, green lentil is there, and pigeon peas government tried to put the buffer stock to liquidate for the open market to control the prices.
Yeah, so if you see these figures, we are talking about close to 4 million ton consumption. 2.5 is the production this year. We are looking at close to 750 to 800,000 ton government stocks. So we are still looking at close to 700,000 tons of shortage. And with current availability, we have only close to 300,000 tons left. So overall, yes, we expect pigeon peas to be short, to be replaced by yard lentils, especially in south of India. Not all parts of the place, but in south of India. But if anybody consume any lentils or peas here, if you cook lentils, if you add spices, if you add onion, it's difficult for any person to catch what quantity is inside. Maybe if a person is having a typical taste, he can know, but after putting all spices, all pulses will say. Like the demand of yellow peas from chickpea shifted because after cook, it's the taste is same and it's cheaper. And the larger community in India is, they want anything which is cheap. There's a lot of rural people and a lot of roadside highways. Everybody has shifted to commodities. So what I'm trying to say here is easily to shift commodities if there is a shortage. If pigeon peas is shortage, you can see lentils. If lentil is not available, then people can find some other replacement. They can mung beans, something they can replace. So, yeah. Again, I'll give this to Shyam on the variety of green mung which is produced in Myanmar. Yes, there are so many varieties. I know it's produced, so maybe you can share a bit on that.
I start with the month of January. In January, February, the harvest time is for Petty Shiva, which is popularly known in Myanmar as the Kanya Shiva and Bago Shiva. Most of the green mung grown in Myanmar are famous from their origin. Kanya Shiva is from Kanya Mung and Bago Shiva is from Bago. January, February comes in the Petty Shiva. This is part of it, and the crop size is around 200 to 250,000 tons. Next month in May is the Anya Shiva, which is around 50,000 tons. And also this time only comes is a Wakima. Wakima is a very small size grey mung, which is mainly imported by Indonesia. They use for cropping. Next comes is during the month of June and July. Is this pakoku. It starts, but the actual production of pakoku starts in September. During June, July, there is an unpolished mung which everybody call it as pakoku. It is not actually pakoku, it is an unpolished mung from southern part of Myanmar. It looks like pakoku. Then comes is a tangu shell, which is around 3.25 mm size and it is almost 90% polished. And later comes is the pakoku. So overall there are 5 or 6 kinds of green mung in Myanmar, and round the year we can get something or other. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the beauty of Myanmar. So even there's a crop commodity green mung beans. Every 2 months there's a crop, so you can easily get different crop and you can have a production. I will put one question to Asad. Asad, what is your view on more MOUs with recent shortage? I'm not taking the question from there, just for a general mass. More MOUs coming like what we have done in Mozambique. You see Indian government coming, because there's a lot of pressure from Tanzania, Malawi, they're requesting government to sign some MOUs, and this year India is a shortage. So do you see any more MOUs coming up?
See, if you take the previous production, like for the past 2 years, the farmers have already shifted to other crops. Okay, so they are not interested to grow more pigeon peas. Okay, Definitely, if there is some synergy between Indian government and the Tanzania and Malawi government, and that definitely the origin governments will push their farmers to grow more pigeon trees. If there is synergy between the Indian government and the African government.
Okay. So there are.
It depends on the government. Like if Indian government supports origin government, then definitely they will definitely push the farmers to grow more pigeon trees.
Yeah, but this year it makes more sense and more reason to sign such MOUs because
This year the Indian government is going to realize that, okay, that we should take some steps to support the overseas farmers as well. So they were thinking that they can grow like whatever they need, they can grow in their own government.
yeah, this year monsoon is not supporting. So this thing, what we feel is yes, Indian government has to be like okay, everybody want to be self-sufficient, but seeing overall situation, we should not be like creating an environment that nobody want to grow anything for India. So they have to seriously look into supporting some sort of origin government, especially Africa. It makes a lot of sense to support farmers there, small stockholders there. So
This is what we are fearing when they stop the import of pigeon meat. This is what we are fearing.
okay. Can you take this question? The question is, if farmers don't produce green mung, what commodity they can change instead of green mung? Suppose they don't have enough green mung to produce, what commodity they can switch in China instead of green mung?
China farmers will plant, this year they will plant more soybean, corn, sorghum, such as mainly agricultural products because the weather is quite good. In the middle of May, in the main production area, there are plenty of rainfall and the farmers can also get some financial support from our government.
Yeah. So most of the governments, they are flexible to switch what they consume more, which is actually a good strategy. That's why the local companies in Myanmar, they have been asking the farmers, okay, you produce what you need, why you have to depend on other countries, and especially one country, and which has been happening and the figures are seen clearly. Eduardo, the way South America is coming into the map, overall map, and the way we see more and more origins, I saw quality outside from Albaz. It's a beautiful quality thing. So how do you see overall, because we are in Brazil, so how do you see overall these commodities, cash crops growing, say next 3 years, 5 years down the line? I am seeing a very nice picture where if I'm here after 3 years, I can see like a decent numbers from South America. What is your opinion on that, on beans and Matpe?
Here in Brazil, they are working very well because they are developing good seeds, and that is one of the first things that you have to do in order to being able to sell good quality. I've been talking with a couple of exporters here, and they say that they are working very well, trying to improve the seeds in order to have, as I said, quality. But in terms of hectares planted, they are very consistent saying that the total area is around 38,000 hectares and perhaps can increase if the markets are, within the market and things that we were talking in the conference, rely on things, perhaps we can see better improvements. And Venezuela, the situation, it's let's say a political thing because producers there started planting green moving because it's a way of sourcing US dollars. Planting other things are very complicated. Green moving is very complicated because they have problems with fuel and a lot of things. But they managed to have a decent crop, a very good quality crop this year, much better than the previous year. And I think that the area is going to increase, and they are going to try to solve the situations with seeds and those problems that they are facing. So I think that in Venezuela we'll see an increase in the area. In Argentina, the situation is different because we don't have good seeds. That is the problem. And for the last 2 years, the major situation that we face is that at the moment that we were harvesting, we had a lot of grains, so the quality were damaged. And every time that we try to sell this quality, we face these situations. Prices were not as good as we expected. So I guess that producers, if they see that the prices of other beans are more competitive, they will switch to other beans. Usually in Argentina is around 30,000 acres, up to 40,000. This year we planted around 15 up to 18. So that is the situation.
Yeah, so this was the last question what we have taken, and what I agree with Eduardo is, what I can see from here is we feel there's a lot of scope in South America for this production to grow, and there are a lot of markets, they want South American products. There's a demand for Wang beans, which is our topic of the panel, and we feel the market is growing and there is more and more issues. And thank you very much to my panelists. Without their contribution or figures, it was not possible for me to do a presentation. They have given the full contribution, and the whole GPC team, especially Mr. Hussain, who has been the last 4 years, have been really driving a lot of things and a lot of motivation for all this. And of course, the whole team, GPC team, they have been putting very, very good conventions and investing. Thank you so much.
Please join me in